everybody. This is Natasha Chilingerian, Managing Editor for Credit Union Times. Thanks for joining us online and on social media. Today we have Sundie Seefried. She is the CEO of Partner Colorado Credit Union in Arvada, Colorado. And she's here to talk about a quite controversial topic, which is credit unions serving the legal marijuana industry. Now, her credit union is located in a state where marijuana is legal for recreational and medical purposes, and it has been serving the industry there for about 2 years now. But as we all know, this industry continues to face some growing political challenges. So let's just get right to it. So first, Sundie, could you give me a brief overview of Partner Colorado's work with the marijuana industry? What types of businesses have you been servicing, and how long have you been working with them?
Well, like you said, we've been doing this for about 2 years now, and we have approximately 275 accounts, which is comprised of about 150 dispensaries, 120 cultivations, 50 manufacturers of edibles, oils, and lotions. Additionally, we have about 50 to 60 ancillary accounts, which are those businesses serving the industry but don't have licenses to actually touch the plant. Security, labeling, packaging, accounting services, businesses like that. Since getting cash off the streets of Colorado to make our community safer was our primary objective, it's worth noting that we are banking over $60 million each month at this point in time, which is well over $700 million annually. It's not difficult to imagine where that money might be if not in the bank.
Right, absolutely. And so what have been some of the biggest challenges so far of working with these businesses from a regulatory standpoint and otherwise?
Well, the easier question might be what hasn't been a challenge. It's been an uphill battle from the start because of the legality issue. On one hand, it's a legal, thriving business in Colorado, and on the other hand, it's almost still a taboo subject on the federal level. Ignorance is bliss, and it's difficult. It's difficult to fault credit unions for turning a blind eye to the issue, because I did too before I learned what was really happening and what the industry was really about. So I have to say the biggest challenge is people not wanting to recognize that cannabis is an emerging, thriving industry. Like it or not, on a personal level, it's a business with money, and we are banking professionals. If not us, then who?
Right, absolutely. And so, despite all of the challenges that do exist, around this industry, what would you say are the biggest benefits to your credit union of banking these businesses? Why do you think it's worth it to you in the long run?
Well, besides the financial benefit, the greatest benefit, hands down, has been safety to our communities. We've taken our members, our families, our grandchildren out of harm's way. It's why we've really moved in this direction. However, the second greatest benefit as a financial institution is that we remain relevant to our communities. Our communities changed after legalization, and as a community credit union, we had to adapt to the needs of our community. We believe, while we are on the bleeding edge at this time with what we're doing, and it's painful, in the long run, we can demonstrate that banking the industry is possible and much better for our communities, the federal agencies, and law enforcement.
Right. Okay. So now I wanted to get into some of the current political challenges and just kind of ask you about what we're facing right now. With this new administration taking over Washington, and with the likely confirmation of Jeff Sessions as Attorney General, who has openly voiced opposition to marijuana, are you concerned at all that there may be some kind of a crackdown coming onto these businesses that you're currently working closely with from the federal government at all? Or do you feel assured that it's safe for the time being?
Well, I don't think there's a sure position, but I have to say, from my perspective, I have no concerns at this time. Who wants to be responsible for placing $700 million back on the streets of Colorado with one action? I'm relatively sure that is not a legacy the Trump administration desires. Who would? 29 states have now legalized cannabis, and 17 more are contemplating a ballot initiative to legalize it in some format. In my opinion, we are well past the tipping point. Certainly, we as a credit union have contingency plans in place, and our business continuity will not be interrupted no matter what happens at the federal level. But here's what I'll say in terms of fear. When you're doing the right thing for your community, even though it isn't legal at the federal level, you're still doing the right thing for the right reason. Motives are in the right place, and that takes a great deal of fear out of it, for us at least.
Right. Okay. And I wanted to ask you, I know you said you do have some contingency plans in place if a worst case scenario were to occur. Let's say businesses did end up having to close. So can you elaborate on that just a little bit? What kind of plans do you have currently in place in case that were to happen in order to recover from that?
Well, first of all, it's a liquidity issue. We have to remember that if we were to have to close all these accounts at one time, we would have to have enough liquidity to liquidate the assets and return them to the members. So in our particular case, because the volume is so high, we couldn't do this inside of 30 days without interrupting the community or our business continuity. So we have a 90-day exit plan, and keeping that liquidity at the top of the list is probably our primary concern. The other thing, though, is returning the money to the members in a manner in which they can adapt. If you go suddenly from a business who's paying payroll to 500 employees on an electronic basis, and now all of a sudden they have to pay cash payroll, that's a difficult process to go through. It was difficult enough for them to go from cash into banking, but to go back is even going to be more difficult. So we're not just disrupting the industry, we're disrupting the lives, the personal lives of so many citizens in Colorado if we're not careful.
The marijuana business members themselves that you've been working with, have they expressed any concerns about their future under this new administration at all over the past couple months? And what are they doing, if anything, to prepare themselves for any changes that might come down the pipeline?
Well, I think the most important thing they're doing is organizing themselves together to fight the good fight for the industry. However, this industry has operated in uncertainty from the start, never knowing who was coming at them next. Nothing's been easy for them. The momentum, though, is too great inside this industry, and the election results speak to an industry support, especially with a Republican win. It takes real courage to do what they do, as well as bank the industry. We're not talking about weak people in this industry, nor a weak resolve. I believe it's business as usual under the new administration that values businesses, jobs, and state rights. I just expect this to grow bigger and bigger, and I see a huge opportunity for credit unions.
Great, excellent. Okay, well, thank you so much. It's really great to hear a positive take on that and a positive outlook on everything. So that's about all the time we have. That was Sundie Seefried with Partner Colorado Credit Union in Arvada, Colorado. Sundie, thank you so much for your time. Good luck with everything, and thanks for what you do. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.